A few of my Chicago buddies have written and produced a movie that just popped up on Shudder. Tim Seeley and Michael Moreci cut their teeth writing comics, and fear not, they haven't left the medium. Seeley is still writing Loaded Bible about Jesus versus vampires, and Moreci is still churning out the awesome Barbaric about a barbarian brandishing a talking, bloodthirsty axe. But somehow, they've found the time to write a film about the end of the world in late 80s Chicago. Here's what I thought of Revealer. Welcome back to ML Miller Frights. I'm ML Miller. Before we begin, please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. Revealer is new streaming on Shudder. It's directed by Boyce and written by Tim Seeley, Michael Moreci, and Boyce. It's 1987 in Chicago, and stripper Angie, played by Kato Ace, is on her way to work. Outside of the adult shop called Revealers, Sally, played by Shayna Shruten, is leading a religious protest standing against pornography. While Angie is busy shaking what her mammy gave her in a booth in the back of the store, the world seems to be ending. Seeking safety, Sally makes her way into the store and finds herself trapped with Angie while the world falls apart outside. Is it the end of times, as Sally prophesied? An alien invasion? Or simply both gals going crazy together? With conflicting views on just about everything, the two women attempt to survive without tearing each other's throats out themselves. One of the things Revealer does fantastically is that it tells a compelling story within the parameters of the film's obviously low budget. Most of the film is dialogue between two people stuck in a single location. What makes it work is that director Boyce keeps the scenes looking interesting, with wonderful neon lighting and claustrophobic spaces. But the main thing that saves the film is that Kato Ace and Shayna Shruten deliver two very strong performances. Performances so strong that you forget that the characters haven't moved an inch for long periods of time. Ace, as Angie, is wonderful as the scampy stripper with a heart of gold, though her demeanor is cold to everyone around her. She delivers a memorable performance as someone who does what she needs to do in order to protect and provide for those she loves. But it's Shruten who has the tough task of playing a religious right person full of judgment and piety, but still making her a fully formed character one cares about despite these giant faults. Both actresses do and say some pretty awful things to one another. It appears they know each other from school, but their lives have gone in completely different directions. These two actresses do a fantastic job of presenting their side of the story while delivering enough insight into their own character to make them worth rooting for. The late 80s is often looked at as a simpler and more nostalgic time, but the more we get to know the two stars of this film, the more things seem to be the same, as a lot of the issues they're dealing with are alive and well in modern times. Topics about morality, censorship, sexual preferences, and life choices are only a few that come up in Revealer. Yes, these are topics that cause hours of typing finger fatigue and YouTube rants, but it is kind of interesting that these topics were as prevalent then as they are today. Now, just because Seeley and Moreci are friends doesn't mean I'm going to go easy on them in this review. Revealer does a great job with very little, but it does break out the soapbox and get somewhat preachy by the end of the film. The mystery of Revealer is whether or not Sally's claims of the end of times is right. If she is, that means there is a God, and that this is Judgment Day. And while that seems to be true, what is a sin turns out to be deeper than what is written in the Bible. And while I don't mind a little debate here and there, the back and forthings get a little stale by the time the third act comes around. By this time, the gals are working together, and it seems the story goes back to that well of both of them being polar opposites a few too many times, especially this late in the game. The effects in Revealer are better than other films of this size and scope. There are some choice CG moments with some snake slug-like creatures that possess people by jutting into their mouths. These are nice and body horrific and not overused. There's also a monstrous demon that is kept in shadows most of the time. While the design is strong, I think the monster looks more like a guy in a Halloween mask, which is probably why it's in shadows for as long as it is. Mixed with some wonderful neon lighting that sets the seedy and grimy mood and some powerful sound effects which highlight the horrors of what's happening outside, Revealer is a film that squeezes all it can from few effects and a lot of camera trickery. Revealer isn't perfect, but with two strong performances by its leads, a strong script that keeps the momentum moving, smartly utilized special effects, and a concept that is topical yet universal, it proves to be a small-scale end-of-the-world flick that works most of the time. I've known Moreci and Seeley had talent from the comics they've produced through the years. Now I know that they translated that talent to film quite capably.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're